Hello, Soul family. Welcome back to Vivid Earth. How's everyone doing on this momentous weekend that we're about to, well, we're halfway through already. Um, this is a momentous window. I've spoken about this before, but the sky is speaking loudly right now. Synchronistic language, solar events, passing interstellar visitors, and powerful planetary alignments and activations are weaving a tapestry that mirrors the tuning in of the world below. Today, I'll share what's unfolding, the science, the signs, the soul meaning, so we can move through this portal with presence and purpose. I'm also going to touch on world events and how all these astronomical and interstellar activities are actually influencing world events. And you're going to see some curious synchronicities, really. So I am, today blending different information together from astronomy to mainstream transit readings and channeled information, a little bit of science and everything in between, because I think that's important to keep in mind. So we're going to look at all of it. Firstly, we're going to look at the sky visitors. We've been speaking about Three-Eye Atlas, gosh, for weeks now, and it keeps unfolding. So, we may have spoken about it 2 weeks ago, but new information literally comes through almost daily now. So it is important to revisit that. And we're going to revisit it some more in the coming weeks because this story isn't finished. It's still busy unfolding. It's still on its way to Earth. And it's on its way to the sun, but something much bigger unfolded uh, in the last couple of days, which is the presence of a brand new interstellar object called Swan R2. Well, it's got a whole code name, but in short, that's what it's called. And the interesting thing is that Swan R2 is apparently 100 times bigger than Atlas, Three-Eye Atlas, and Three-Eye Atlas is not small. Swan R2 is believed to be could be the size of Manhattan. It is huge. And it also, it's definitely not a comet. Let's just, get that out of the way. Neither of them are comets. More like a giant spaceship of sorts, some with some sort of responsive sentient presence, and also some sort of plasma field around it, protecting it, no doubt. So what's interesting is that Atlas, 3-Eye Atlas is apparently from Sagittarius, and Swan R2 is apparently from Aquarius. Now, isn't that interesting? Because aren't we like, moving into the age of Aquarius? Well, kind of, we've got 1 foot in already. Indeed. So I find that very interesting that Swan R2 is from Aquarius. And I just think some very, very interesting things are busy unfolding. And it's building up towards some sort of major event in our skies here on Earth that's going to have a profound effect on the planet. That's just my personal internal knowing and inner standing and what I've downloaded around it, and we'll see how this unfolds. But suffice to say, something like this has never happened before. We've never seen what we've seen now, and include in that all the solar activity that we've seen. We've literally never seen that before on Earth. We literally moving through historical times. So, just take a moment to take all of that in. These are not just like small things floating into our atmosphere. This is huge. Now, the last time Swan R2 visited our solar system was over 22,000 years ago. Over 22,000 years ago. That was during the ending of the Ice Age. So I don't know, this is starting to look to me like literally the dawning of a new age, like with a bang. Like, technically we already have our 1 foot in, but we haven't given that final birth push to birth a new earth, right? And could this be instrumental in doing that? Not to say that are not the ones that do it ourselves, but it can hold and support and provide a certain frequency environment to help that final push come through. Like the what do you call it? The midwife Could these be the midwives of the new Earth? Well, I think it could just be. Um, Now, get this, Swan R2 is believed to be more than 7 billion years old. It's older than Earth. Well, supposedly. That is just something, incredible in itself. So I don't know about you, but this seems very kind of biblical to me. Swan R2 is much more potent than 3R Atlas. The funny thing is that they are heading for the same direction. They're from different directions, but they're heading to connect behind the sun. So they're going to meet up, the two of them. What's going to happen then exactly? I'm not sure at this point. We will look further into it, but they are going to meet up behind the sun. Um, you know, our scientists are watching this with curiosity and a lot of caution. A lot of people are already dooming and glooming, but we don't listen to that. We believe this is a profound positive effect on the Earth and where we are going as a planet, ascending into a higher dimension. This is a huge event, so one can expect some galactic help to kind of hold the frequency and make sure that event goes smoothly. So in my mind, that is what those two interstellar objects or um, spacecraft really are doing. Um, now, 3R Atlas is well, some say from Sagittarius, and others say it's from the Pleiades, because there's actually a planet called Atlas in the Pleiades. So I don't know which one is true, but or maybe a combination of. But I do believe there are different star races involved with it: Pleiadians, Arcturians, and Andromedans. Lyrans. So it's not, it is a kind of a galactic craft. We haven't got too much information on Swan R2 yet, and I'm sure information will come, downloads will come, but I just wanted to get this information out for those that are not aware. This is absolutely astronomical. And of course, some people also reckon that Atlas is obviously aligned or connected to Atlantis and Lemuria as well. So we've got a lot of Pleiadian, Atlantean, and Lemurian energy coming through. And I feel like in terms of Atlantis, as I said many times before, we are at a point where we're at a moment where we have a Atlantis 2.0 happening. That moment where Atlantis was, decided it had to go down because it wasn't moving in the right direction. We have made the other shift to the upper direction and say, this time we're getting it right. We're not going to mess it up this time. A lot of us were there for the fall of Atlantis, and we're back here to make sure it doesn't happen again. And that's why we came here on a mission. Like, honestly, um, many of us are the starseeds, the way showers, the undercover agents that came to Earth to help this shift into a new age, into a new dimension. It's absolutely historical from my point of view, and it is powerful synchronicity that the two have joined up. Um, you know, so whether you look at this as an astrophysical phenomenon or a living symbol, it is a bit of both. But just feel into the resonance. How does it feel for you? Instead of listening to 100 people, see how it feels for you. What rings true for you? What ancient part of you is stirring when you think about these objects that are, gigantic, um, and meeting behind the sun, perhaps assisting with that, with the solar flash. I don't know, but I just kind of connecting those things in my head, and we'll see how things unfold, guys. And then we've got the eclipse happening tomorrow, which is just as astronomical, because it's at 29 degrees Virgo, as I've said before. But what I've just found out now, actually, that it's conjunct to the supergalactic center. I've spoken about these deep space objects before. They're quite fascinating. You have the galactic center, then you've got the supergalactic center, then you've got the the great attractor, and then you've got this Shapley attractor that is the deepest space object. Nobody knows quite what it is. A lot of people just describe it as a black hole. Could it be the origin of creation itself? But these objects is literally in another galaxy, and how they influence us in this galaxy and how it's connected and bringing some of that codes and information through. So, that really feels like this conjunction is like a mirror held to the earth. It's not just a personal reset, but it connects to deeper cosmic corridors and really asking of us, who am I? Who do I choose to be? And perhaps for the collective and humanity at large, who do we choose to be? Because a decision has to be made, right? Um, and I'm going to dive deeper into that because I think it's pretty phenomenal that we are at this point also with the solar eclipse, and that is conjunct to the supergalactic center. And not only that, there are other deep space objects also. Um, we also, when we look at Virgo, Virgo's medicine asks for embodied simplicity, fidelity to the body, releasing what no longer serves, tying off that solar, the eclipse window that we've had between the lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, closing it all off, closing it down, aligning, with what's true, what's authentic, and really stepping into cosmic stewardship along with our authenticity. So, it allows kind of the sacred and the practical to walk together, anchoring in the sacred into the practical day-to-day life, the cosmic into the day-to-day life. So it's not just something out there that we discuss hush hush behind closed doors. We are anchoring that into daily life now and stepping into our authenticity. We are also seeing a few other planetary activations around the solar eclipse: Saturn, Mercury, Mars, and the Shapley attractor, which I'll get to as well. Saturn is retrograde, asking us to gather the hard-won wisdom of the soul. And retrogrades are not there to punish us, they're really there to push us and to push us to greatness if we can really face it, embrace it, and learn the lessons that it's there to teach us. And then Mercury is delivering the final puzzle piece, the mind alignment, the finishing of threads, the enabling of clarity. The most potent is probably the Mars activation at 29 degrees, which is aligning with the Shapley attractor. So the Shapley attractor is one of the largest drivers of galactic gravitational and sure, sorry, and informational flow we can detect. It is the biggest, furthest, most significant deep space object, and it's got a very high magnetic pull. So in esoteric language, that functions as an activation net for ancient galactic wisdom. So this is what we have the potential to step into on the solar eclipse, embracing ancient galactic wisdom. And Mars fuels that culmination and that release, the warrior energy to transmute what must fall away, and the fire to pull multidimensional archives into the body, because it's almost pushing us to step into our multidimensionality, to really pull on our multidimensionality, because we are not just this human avatar on this planet right now. We are so much more. We are multidimensional beings, as you know. And this is a very liberating frequency, a call to complete the old story and step into the galactic aided new one, because we are all galactic beings, So can we draw on some of that cosmic galactic wisdom and knowing and knowledge? I find that very, very fascinating. There are people that have their personal planets aligned or conjunct to these deep space objects. I have a galactic center alignment as well as Shapley attractor alignment. So, for me, it's fascinating, and I'm still busy unpacking what this all means. But it does mean a very ancient galactic wisdom, even from another galaxy coming through, um, which is, quite a lot to absorb, and we're still unpacking it. There are loads of galactic astrologers that really go into this deeply. If you want to get to the astrology, from a very technical point of view, it's very fascinating, actually. And it's funny how um, people who have this alignment somehow found each other. For those that didn't know, I do soul readings now with people as well, very selectively. I don't blast it out there, and I only do like very few a week. Um, and I look at the blueprint of a person when I do that reading for them, looking at their natal chart, their galactic alignments, the numerology, and their life path, how they can make changes in their life accordingly, because normally they come to me with a profound need to make changes in their life and they don't quite know how to do it. They have that spiritual awakening, they don't know quite how to deal with it, quite not how to step into the new version of themselves. So I do help people with that. You can check it out on my website, vividearth.org, under consultations if you're interested. So it's really, really super interesting to actually look at your own chart and to see your own galactic alignments and what that actually means for your life here on Earth. Because you choose a, a natal chart as part of your blueprint. But beyond that, your galactic chart actually informs where your deeper connections and origins are from a galactic point of view. And I'm busy losing my voice, and I have no idea why, but apparently that's part of the ascension symptoms that we're currently experiencing. So I'll touch a little bit on that as well. Um, I'm not going to go too deep into the astrology because I do want to touch on world events, and I know you guys are dying to hear it. But we do have this eclipse portal closing tomorrow. And what this actually means for the next 6 months is we're going to see it unfold, in the next 6 months. It's still going to kind of have its consequences roll out and transpire over the next couple of months. And to create a net of destiny and possibility. So it's really up to each of us how we're going to use that energy to push ourselves forward. How are we going to use this energy to connect with our higher wisdom, our galactic connections, and cosmic remembrance? And what are the seeds that you're planting now that you're going to see blossom perhaps in the next 6 months? So that's really important. And we can expect an acceleration in collective shifts, more disclosure, more destabilizing noise, and simultaneously with that, more awakening. So we are in the chaos, in the mush of birthing a new earth, and that just part and parcel of what happens during such a historical event. So, set your intentions to really anchor the new earth codes in your body, into your community, into your day-to-day choices. Because as I said, the seeds that you plant now is going to have an effect for, the future. And it is a powerful window that we are in right now. Um, and obviously the equinox is going to be kind of a fresh start in a way as well. That is happening on Monday. So you literally have like the solar eclipse tomorrow, Sunday, and straight the day after you have the equinox, which is rebalancing of the scales, perhaps justice finally coming to the world stage. And I'm seeing some very interesting signs that some really major revelations are coming soon. But for those of us that are tuned in and connecting the dots, we already know what's going down. So on the ground, many narratives are moving fast, and do not get caught up in the noise. There's a lot of like very silly narratives unfolding. But what we can see happening in the background is a financial restructuring. In fact, the new financial system is already running in the background, as we know, the QFS, the currency revaluation, the all of these things are happening in the background and will be made public very soon at some stage, and I don't know when, so don't ask me. There's been a lot of date predictions, and in fact, I believe it should have already happened actually 2 years ago, but it hasn't. Certain things have slowed down the process, so we have to stay the path. We have to stay the course. Um, but what I really found interesting is with Trump's recent visit to England, all the signs are there. All they're dropping so many comms. It's not even funny, guys. Um, now again, Trump was riding in the royal carriage. That's never been done for a world leader. That doesn't happen. They normally have a, what do you call it, a limousine and a what it's called, but the entourage, shall we say, on the road arriving. But no, he arrived in a royal carriage. Okay, then they went to not Buckingham Palace, but Windsor. Again, something that's not really normal for a world leader visiting. Then we saw them pictured. First, Melania was wearing black, and then for the main event, the evening event, we saw her wearing a yellow gown, which is traditionally preserved for royalty. um, then we saw Trump walking in front of King Charles with the military flanking them side by side. In fact, inspecting their guard. I forgot what they call their military, but anyway, as if it was his. A lot of people think he's arrogant. Let me tell you what's really going on. Now, we know he's also walked in front of the Queen a couple of years ago. I forgot the year, but it's, and then it was really a done deal. So what happened here is, practically the whole world, like 80% of the world, is still under the British control, the monarchy. There are still effectively British colonies, even though the people don't know this. The US being the kind of the main feather in the crown, and then there's a lot of subsidiaries under the US, which is like all the Commonwealth countries like South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, what else? Canada, all these subsidiaries. So from a corporate structure point of view, what I think has happened is Trump has basically bankrupted and taken over the British corporation that overarches all of these entities, corporate entities, i.e. countries, but they're actually corporate entities. So he's taken that over through certain means, perhaps through bankruptcy. We know that there are trillions, stored away in trusts, in sovereign trusts, that is going to get rid of the world's debt. And yeah, so that we can basically divorce that whole system once and for all, because we have to settle the debt, right? So that we can say, okay, it's been fun. Here you go. We're settling all the debt. We're closing it down. We're closing all these corporations down. And we're forging a new path on Earth that's going to be very different. So with Trump then closing down the British corporation, he's effectively taken the US back under his control as well. And now that is why effectively, in a way, he's kind of a king, not only of England, but of pretty much the world. So a lot of people joke about that. There's been a lot of jokes about him being king of the world, and the left is freaking out and, laughing and pointing fingers. But effectively, this is what needed to be done to take control back. The three principalities being the city of London, where all the finance were run from for the cabal, Washington, D.C., which is the military and political control, and then the Vatican, which is the religious control, which kind of oversees everything. He's taken all of those three back. And when I say he, I'm talking about the Earth Alliance, with him being the public face of that. So really, that's what I think what's what has happened, and he's just showing us all in our faces with all the comms and the proof that this is what happened. And we're going to see that um, rolling out on a public level in the days and weeks to come. They're not just going to announce, oh, this is what it is, because most of the normies, as you know, cannot handle that kind of information. So it's got to be doing slowly and but surely. But effectively, it will be made public. In the not too distant future, shall we say. So this is all fascinating stuff, and I'm very excited for the future because things are shifting. The things we've been hoping and praying for and meditating about is happening. We just need to now, anchor in that peace on earth, because the division is still at an all-time high. And there may be false flag events as well. We don't know what rabbit they're going to pull. Very likely there will be. If you can imagine what the white hats and the lions have to deal with, to be monitoring the entire earth to look out for any potential false flag events. Can you imagine how difficult that is? So, just be realistic, have an open mind that something may happen, but we're all meditating over the fact that it's going to be sorted and the impact will be minimal. Most likely it will be in the US, because that's kind of where Trump is from, and the threat of the new benevolent world alliance is sitting. So we have to anchor in peace here on earth, that something like that doesn't happen, or that it's stopped. At the same time, we're seeing a lot of UFO and galactic, contact exposure and disclosure coming out. The UFO hearings, or the UAP, are continuing again, as I understand it. We've had that clip of a senator walking down the street speaking about sentient beings in the sea, in the deep sea, present here on this planet. I mean, for a senator to talk like that is just pretty mind-blowing. So all of these little things are coming out. Disclosure about life on other planets is increasing for the sleepers at large. And we may just have some, interstellar visitors very soon as well, in even other forms, or maybe it will be in the form of these two spacecraft, 3i Atlas and Swan R2. Just remember what I said a couple of weeks ago. These two spaceships don't have to be traveling through space at this slow speed. And yes, it is a slow speed, because portal travel means you can literally be in one location in the galaxy and be transported into a different place. Why are they not using that technology? Because they want the humans to start acclimatizing to the idea that there is other life out there, that there are life beyond Earth, and that is a big objective, and it's a big thing for people to be getting comfortable with, and that's why disclosure has been taking so long. So for me, this is kind of part of the disclosure process, the fact that these two are moving at such a slow space. Apparently, a 3i Atlas is going to be at its closest on something like the 20th of December, again, a day before solstice. But it will be at its closest to the sun at the end of October. So that for me is an interesting date. Why is it an interesting date? Because if the cabal is going to pull one last thing, it might just be on Halloween, which they love to do as a ritual sacrifice date. So maybe there'll be something before Halloween to kind of stop all this nonsense, and could be a solar flash. Now, I don't think it's going to be one big flash. I think it's going to be something smaller, but it would knock out electronics and things like that. It would definitely plunge the planet into darkness for a little bit, and it will have an impact, but perhaps not the impact that one big solar flash was going to have. I think that that plan has been adjusted personally, but hey, that's just me. You may have another opinion. And for those worried, somebody was asking in the comments, but I'm in a hotel room in Bali. What's going to happen? Do not worry. Everything will be fine if it does happen. Literally, everything will be fine. Everyone will be looked after. Do not stress. Like literally, try and put your need to control the situation out of your mind because we can't control it. And it's going to be a beautiful transformation. And don't even think about the logistics or when or where or what. You will be taken care of. You have guidance. You have spirit guides. You have your higher self. They're going to look after you. Don't worry. It's going to be fine. The all galactic help going to help us through this last push, the midwives to the new earth. And I promise you, everything will happen for our highest good. Everything will be fine. And I want you to feel that and not carry fear in your heart for all these unknowns that we're busy experiencing. Many of us have waited for all of this for a long time. And there's no fear. There's nothing to fear, really. Um, all the astrology and the sky patterns are reflecting the geopolitical tensions, and they just all like one big orchestra coming together in the perfect timing to shift Earth into a new trajectory and a new dimension. So just be discerning, stay safe, but don't overthink and don't overanalyze and don't try and control every single detail because that is not really necessary. Now, just to kind of anchor all of this in and make sure that you guys are on, the right um, wavelength here, I'm going to do a practical anchoring in and a short activation, really. So just follow my words. Let's anchor now. Close your eyes and take 3 full, slow breaths in. Hold at the top and release. Imagine a golden crescent, the partial eclipse resting in your solar plexus. With each inhale, draw up deep earth rooting energy. And with each exhale, pour golden solar light down into those roots. Then silently say, I choose to steward. I choose to embody. I choose unity in the face of change. You can open your hands, feel your heart, and keep this image of the crescent as a talisman for the days ahead. You can open your eyes. Guys, we are living through a portal that is both rare and actually ordinary. Rare in its scale, ordinary in the fact that life continues to demand our love, the laundry to be done, meals to be made. The power is not in prophecy, it is in how we respond, how we anchor, steward, and act from the body. So if you guys want a deeper activation, you're invited to join us tomorrow night on Sunday, tomorrow, Sunday, for our Vivid Earth 5D community activation, where I'll dive much deeper into these subjects and I'll do a longer activation on the day of the solar eclipse, which will be very strong and impactful. So if you want to join us, I'll leave the link for that below in the show notes. I'll also post about that on Telegram. It is 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 7 p.m. South African Standard Time. And it's normally an hour and a half. We're a small community of like-minded, awakened souls coming together to create new earth communities in line with the age of Aquarius. And people have made wonderful friends there. It's really small and intimate, and it's not a large group. I don't advertise it all over the place, but you're welcome to join us if you feel so called, and just try it out. And you can also learn about our community, how to join it sort of long term on the Vivid Earth site. That's vividearth.org. And then you just scroll down, you'll see pop up for the community, and you can just click on that and read all about it. And then all the links are below as well. So, subscribe to our newsletter so you can stay informed of events and things happening, news, blog posts. And then also join us on Telegram, where we update you daily on the happenings, latest happenings in the world. So we stay connected there. And as part of our 5D community, you can also be part of our private Telegram group, where we support one another and share ideas and things related to our Zoom calls, which is wonderful. So what else? Yeah, don't forget to watch my recent video with Master Jeff Mamora and Alexia Eisenhower about 5D health protocols and tips. That is kind of off the wall, but really interesting. Um, I posted a short version on YouTube. The longer version is on Rumble because, you know, of what YouTube is very restrictive, shall we say. So you'll see that in it's one of the last videos that I did. So go and watch that, and also the episode with um, Ken Cousins, founder of Pantera Vida and the Gemstone University, who's been teaching and putting together structures and strategies for personal sovereignty and freedom, and studying the law systems, the financial systems over the last 30 years. And that is a fascinating discussion about how, esoteric is actually in charge of all of the cabal systems and how they're busy collapsing and what lies ahead. And there's some very exciting things lying ahead, not all of which we can talk about right now, but suffice to say, it's going to be beautiful. So hold that in your heart. And I hope you have a meaningful solar eclipse and equinox. Make it count. Anchor in those cosmic codes, that galactic remembrance, and let's step into the next level of our evolution, guys. It's very exciting. Send you much love.